that doesn't make sense. If a studio is going to gender swap a character, they're just gonna do it from Jump Street. All right, so that's first. Hello, Big Show nerds. We have an episode. The last episode, I apologize for it. It was a bit of a mess. It does exist. If you follow me on the audio, you can find the podcast version of this show in its entirety anywhere you get your podcast. I believe it's called General Feed. I need to fix that. I apologize. Or you can go over to my clip channel. The link will be in the description so that you can catch at least the sections that aren't getting DMCA'd right now. Either way, I appreciate you for sticking it out with me. I am Dustin. This is the Nerd News Headlines right here on Big Show Entertainment Network. Don't forget to click the thumbs up before we jump into the news. Let the algorithm know that you like what's going on here on the channel. And a little bit of housekeeping that isn't in the proper housekeeping section for Big Show specifically. I am currently working on a new DJ set video that will be going up here on the Ben After Dark section. And we're going to be, breaking up the channel a little bit. So very interesting things are happening. Thank you very much for joining me. Let's get into the news. Housekeeping for this episode is interesting. So, last episode, you may or may not have seen or listened to, because the Sunday before that, I had a video gig, and part of that video gig, I needed to use this camera on which I film, and I turned off my autofocus. Forgot to turn it back on, which kind of made for a blurry episode if you were watching it. So in order to cover up the spot, which was, the majority of the episode, where I was out of focus, I covered it with videos about the things which I was talking about in the news, and YouTube did not like that so much. So if you only watch the videos and you are not following me on the social medias, because some of the stuff has gone up in short content, be it on TikTok or Instagram Reels, then you did not see the last episode. Or if you're not following the clips show, because all of the sections, save for two, I believe, I think movies and reviews are the two sections that are getting DMCA'd right now, and so I'm trying to fight it, but the process through which YouTube does these things is so slow that the episode is not live as you are watching this new episode. So my apologies. The video, one of the videos, two of the videos actually, that I chose to use for the content which we were talking about got struck because reasons, I don't know. It's just the fair use is so not a thing on YouTube, and I was hoping I could get around it. I was trying a couple of different tricks and didn't work. Either way, my apologies, nerds, but last episode was a little bit of a mess. This episode is on much better track so far. So that is that part of the housekeeping. Then we're going to push into the regular part of housekeeping, generally nerdy on all of these social medias. Twitter is generally _nerdy, but everything else is just regular old generally nerdy. Look for the Nerdy Ninja. Please do follow me as soon as I can get at least 2, preferably 3 of these social media outlets at 1,000 followers. Then, people will start taking me a little bit more seriously. We can start getting a lot more quality content as far as interviews and such goes. So that being said, we do have some more shout outs along those lines. Once again, if you have already received your shout out, or you joined up before I started doing such things, and you want to be part of the episode, by all means find me on the social media. Give me some stuff to go on. If you got a lead on a story that you think would be great for the show, by all means let me know, and I will put you in the shout out section. Sorry, words. It's a lot of S's. But our shout outs are as follows for today's episode. And We're starting in YouTube. These are new followers for the main channel as well as the Clips channel. So again, there is a Clips channel. You can catch the pieces of the last episode over there. Nerd News Clips is the name of the channel. TV streaming, we have no follow-ups, we have no new trailers to speak of. This is another section that if you missed it in the last episode because you watch the episodes and you don't listen to them because the entire audio has been posted, you can find that wherever you get podcasts, or you can go to nerdylegion.com where I post the TV streaming and movies and rumors audio every episode as well, or you can just go over to the Clips show, which again, top link in the description will take you to the Clips channel, and you can see the TV streaming section from the previous episode because there were a couple of trailers and such that we talked about then. This episode, however, we're starting things off with She-Ra, Princess of Power. Not the She-Ra you're thinking of. Netflix is not doing another season of the animated She-Ra that nobody watched. What's happening now is very interesting because the DreamWorks Animation Studio, yes, Animation Studio, that doesn't make sense considering the rest of this information, but bear with me. DreamWorks Animation Studio has struck a deal with Amazon for a live-action version of She-Ra. This version will completely ignore the previous animated version. Presumably, it will be a retelling or a continuation of some sort of the original version of She-Ra, which the previous animated version chose to ignore that. So we're just playing leapfrog with all of these different She-Ra iterations. That's all we really know right now. Again, this is not going to be connected to the Netflix series, but it's going to be live action, so could potentially be awesome, could also potentially be garbage because it's still the same overall production company. They just don't have distribution through Netflix. The distribution is what has changed. Next is a quickie, technically a follow-up, but I don't remember talking about this show on the show previously, so I can't put it in a follow-up section if we didn't talk about it to begin with. But it is worth noting that Only Murders in the Building, the series over on Apple TV Plus that features Selina Gomez, Steve Martin, and Martin Short, which I am super excited to watch. I have yet to start it. They are on episode 5, and they have been picked up for a second season. So congratulations to everybody involved with Only Murders in the Building. And then our final piece for TV streaming, we're going out on a down note. Just this morning, as I'm filming this, yesterday morning, as you're watching this, Norm Macdonald was announced to have passed away at the age of 61 to a battle of cancer. Battle with cancer, I guess I should say, that really he kept a large secret. Norm Macdonald, again, 61, a comedic legend, has left the earth, and there's nothing really else to say. Norm Macdonald was great, and he will be very much missed. Not only in the comedy world, but just in the entertainment world in general. We're going to take a moment of silence and remember Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing. You know, I haven't worked out forever. I never worked out. Good God, has it been that long ever? But I got to start.
And that, nerds, is what we have for TV streaming. Movie section. We do have a couple of follow-ups to knock out of the way. First up is Halloween Kills. NBC Universal came out of left field and said, oh yeah, by the way, October 15th is going to be the day that this is going to be in theaters, but it's also going to be the day that we put it on the Peacock streaming service. So if you are a subscriber to Peacock, then you will be able to watch it as part of your subscription fee. If you do not subscribe, then you have to go see it in theaters, which generally speaking for a horror movie is the best way to watch it anyway. So there is that. Our next follow-up is with the Willy Wonka prequel movie that we've been keeping tabs on. Previously announced Timothée Chalamet will be playing a younger Wonka, and now we have the announcement that Keegan-Michael Key has been cast in an undisclosed role for the film as well. Very interesting. I like Chalamet. I like Keegan-Michael Key. This could be heading in a good direction. Who knows at this point? Who knows? But we're moving on. Our next follow-up is a very quick one. Bob's Burgers, the movie, has a release date finally. May 22nd, or 27th rather, of 2022 is when you'll be able to see Bob's Burgers on the big screen. That is what we have for follow-ups. Our first trailer that we're going to be talking about is one that I actually skipped in the previous episode, but you probably didn't know that because the previous episode only went out on a couple of platforms for reasons already mentioned. So, the most recent Last Night in Soho trailer has been launched, and it's the trailer. This is a very weird thing to say, but the trailer starts off a little slow, and it's like 3 minutes long. So at first you're going, I don't know if this is what they were selling it to me as, and then you get to the latter half of the trailer and they go, oh, I see now. Oh, I do want to see this movie. So definitely, if you have not yet seen it, go follow the link down in the show notes and do that because it looks great. It looks so great. Anyway, Edgar Wright is brilliant. We're moving on. Next, we're talking about Hawkeye's new trailer. Again, link down in the description. There is a boatload of breakdowns of this trailer, all of the Easter eggs that they're dropping and so on and so forth, but it just looks like a lot of fun. This looks like Disney might be still sort of listening to fans a little bit, but I don't know. You go watch it, come back to the social medias, and let's have that conversation. What do you think about the new Hawkeye trailer? Our last trailer is a very interesting one. This is also the announcement of something that was not really something that anybody was asking for, but could be interesting nonetheless. Bright, that Netflix movie that featured Will Smith, is getting another movie, kind of. It's an anime movie called Bright Samurai Soul. It is going to be, again, on Netflix. It does take place in the same world as that Will Smith movie, but it is a prequel, kind of. It's none of the original actors are coming back to voice characters because it takes place in a different area of the world, and this also doesn't mean that we're going to see another Bright live action movie like we had rumors months and months ago saying that we were going to. So strange, but interesting, and we're going to keep tabs, and we're also going to be moving on. Our one piece of regular old news for the movie section has to do with Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's newest movie is going to be about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who created the atom bomb, and the big piece of news for this is that it is not going to be for Warner Brothers or Legendary Pictures. It is instead going to be for Universal Pictures. This will be the first time in roughly 2 decades, so 20 freaking years, that Christopher Nolan has not made a picture for Warner Brothers. So really interesting to see what happens. So far, I believe they've announced that the budget is somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million. So add another $100 million to the marketing machine for this movie. So you're looking at $200 million to break even on a Christopher Nolan movie. That should be pretty freaking easy, but we'll keep tabs. And that is what we have for the movie section. Rumor mill, let's jump headfirst into our first rumor, and it is a WB Games leak, apparently. So user on Reddit, and then somebody else claims to have confirmed it, and they have pictures, so it must be true, that there was a giant leak through the Nvidia Geforce NOW cloud streaming gaming service. That's a lot of words. Apparently somebody hacked into it, they gave details, and somebody else, again, confirmed it, and it shows a bunch of file names for games that are being played currently on the system by developers. A lot of these games are games that have been rumored for years. Games with titles like Batman Arkham Insurgency, as well as games that we didn't know were in development, like Batman Beyond Gotham, Batman Arkham Underworld, and Suicide Squad Metallica. But the thing that kind of has me going, I don't know about this, is the fact that both Mortal Kombat 12 and Injustice 3 both appear on this list. So that definitely discredits a lot of things. And also the fact that games that are listed on here that have been rumored, again, for years and have not ever come to fruition are on this list. It just definitely seems like somebody was really excited to fake something and they didn't do any homework for what is very likely in actual production at the moment. So the likelihood for this rumor, this leak, quote unquote, is about 20%. I would be very, very surprised if most of these games were real. If this was an actual hack or if this was an actual leak, then I don't understand the industry like I thought I did. And I'm pretty sure I have a pretty good grasp on that because I've been following these things for quite some time. Either way, 20% is where we're standing. We're moving right along. Our next rumor has to do with Indiana Jones. And we've got a couple of things going on here. So, first up, the actual rumor says that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who we know has been cast in a role in this movie, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is supposedly, according to this rumor, going to be, quote-unquote, replacing Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, unquote. Okay, so there's a couple of things to unpack here. First and foremost, how are they going to have both Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge in the same movie playing the same character? That doesn't make sense. If a studio is going to gender swap a character, they're just gonna do it from Jump Street. All right, so that's first. Second, let's get a little reasonable here. All right, reasonably nerdy moment. The reasonable thing to conclude with this potential rumor is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, should any of this come to actuality, should this actually be a thing, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to take over the series. That's not her becoming Indiana Jones. That is not gender swapping Indy. That is gender swapping the lead of a franchise movie. Sure. Gender swapping Indiana Jones? No, not so much. Unless, they did do aliens in the last movie, so maybe they're going to do like alternate universes. That is a possibility, though not a reasonable conclusion to come to. Reasonably speaking, there is no way that you can get to the conclusion that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to be Indiana Jones. And I think that's where a lot of the nerd rage is coming from, because nerds don't want to see the gender swapping. So again, we're still with our reasonable caps on. We're thinking, all right, so Harrison Ford is getting up there in years. If this franchise continues to move forward, and it is not going to move forward with Harrison Ford in the lead role anymore, he is going to step aside and take a secondary role to Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It is no longer going to be Indiana Jones. It's going to be whatever her character's name is. It's just going to continue this universe, which probably is not going to do well for the studio because Indiana Jones is the reason we watch Indiana Jones movies. But they are experimenting with other ways to continue franchises that theoretically could upset fans less, because let's be honest, it's the internet and everybody's going to get mad about something. I applaud the studio for trying something different aside from just straight swapping up Indy for a female actor. That's just my opinion. That's just me trying to bring a little levity to the situation. Let's move right along to the likelihood that this is the case. All right, so just because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is on set does not mean that she's actually going to be taking over the lead of the series. Just means that she was cast in a movie and she's going to be playing a secondary role to Indiana Jones. So we also know, though, that there is a lot of push towards diversification and regendering things and so on and so forth. So it is possible, there is a fair reason to believe that this could happen. So we're going to go about 60% likelihood that Phoebe Waller-Bridge will be moving into a lead role in subsequent films in this universe. Moving on. Our next rumor has to do with the Batman HBO Max universe stuff that's going on, whatever that mess is that they're calling the DCEU these days. This has to do with that, specifically the Batman side of things, even more specifically, Penguin is supposedly getting a series over on HBO Max. No detail in this rumor as to if it's going to be an ongoing series, if it's going to be a mini-series, so on and so forth. It does go on to say that it is going to be a prequel to the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, and it is going to be obviously a younger Penguin, presumably how he comes to power. The likelihood on this one, honestly, it could kind of go either way. It does also, to its credit, say that it's probably not going to be Colin Farrell playing the Penguin, as it is, again, going to be a younger version of the character. But still, not originally the greatest source. There has been a secondary source that is a little better, but I feel like they're just picking up on the same quote-unquote insider information and kind of running with it. So I can't really, I don't know, it just doesn't lend itself very well to being 100% true. We're going about 40% likelihood that we will be seeing a Penguin series on HBO Max. Now, could they be actually working on a Penguin movie for HBO Max? That seems slightly more likely. I would put that rumor a little bit over halfway, like 5% over halfway, so 55% likelihood that that's the actual case. I just don't see them doing a series with the Penguin. Moving on to our next rumor, we have another Mortal Kombat rumor that really breaks my little stinking nerd heart because we can't confirm it. There is not enough on either side for this rumor. So the rumor says that Warner Brothers wants to do a prequel to the most recent live-action Mortal Kombat movie. Again, not going to get into detail about the newest live-action Mortal Kombat movie. Check generallynerdy.net for my full write-up there. We do know that they want to expand the Mortal Kombat universe. We do know that they specifically want to expand this new live-action Mortal Kombat universe. It just strikes me as odd that they would do the prequel animated when they already have an animated Mortal Kombat universe. So that really kind of grates up against the plausibility for this rumor. If it weren't for the animated portion of this, I would say that this is very, very likely, but as it stands, we can't go over 50%, so that's where we're at with this one. Our final rumor has to do, again, with another Universal property. Harry Potter is back in the rumor mill. This time it is not Harry Potter directly, just a character from the world of Harry Potter, very specifically Snape. The newest rumor is that Snape is getting his very own series on HBO Max. This one strikes a little odd. Snape is, he is a fan favorite for sure. As far as the teachers go, he is definitely right up there at the top with the likes of Dumbledore and the like. So it would not be a complete surprise if this is the direction that they're going, but it would be strange for this to be the first spin-off thing that we get outside of Fantastic Beasts. So that is the reason, it would make more sense that they would go with one of the primary characters from either the Harry Potter series or the Fantastic Beasts series and not one of the secondary characters from there. So that being the case, we're going to put this one at about 30% likelihood that we're going to see a Snape series before something else gets a series. Again, long enough timeline, anything is possible. Just within the next few years, probably not going to see Snape get his own series. That is what we have for the Rumor Mill, nerds. And that does it for this episode of Headlines, nerds. For a more in-depth conversation on pop culture nerd news, you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy, for all of the other topics. While you're here, though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms. Definitely tune in next time for all that's happening across the nerd world. And also, don't forget that there are a bunch of things about to happen right here on the channel. So stay tuned for all of that, and we'll see you in the next one, nerds.